One of the easiest ways to ruin your trip is to pack things just in case. Each piece of gear is added weight in your bag, and if you don't end up using something, it essentially just gets a free trip around the globe. Do you want a well-traveled neck pillow, or do you want to see the world without spending hundreds on checked bag fees? On a recent trip to England, I packed intentionally to keep my bag light and comfortable. In this video, I'm sharing everything I brought, why I packed it, and explaining how I made the most of the space in my bag. Let's get into it. I'm testing a new bag every 2 weeks, but this time I traveled with Matador's new 35-liter global travel pack. The bag isn't officially released yet, but they gave us permission to share a little sneak preview since it's what I took on my trip. So before we move on to everything I packed, I want to cover how I organized this thing and walk you through the other bags I brought. I wanted to keep my pouches and cubes minimal overall, so I utilized every internal pocket I can find in the backpack. Yes, I even left packing cubes behind because the mesh zippered compartment was enough to keep all my clothing in place. Little items that didn't fit into a built-in pocket or that I knew I'd be moving frequently between bags got their own pouch. I went with the Belroy cinch pocket on this trip because it's got a built-in carabiner, which I used a few times to hang the pouch off my bag and the seat back pocket, and a double closure, which meant I could leave the main lid open and only use the cinch opening on the plane. The access is a little tedious for me day to day, but it lets me keep my gear accessible without me being afraid of my gear falling out. After all, accessibility is huge when you're stuck on a plane for 9 hours. That's also why I brought a personal item backpack. My go-to is the Fjallraven Kanken because it's big enough that I can keep larger items close at hand under the seat in front of me, but I'm not struggling to find space for my feet either. Everything I need for my flight is in this bag, which means I can throw my carry-on bag in the overhead compartment and have it there until we land. I hate disturbing an entire row of people just to grab something I forgot to get out before I sat down. Since I don't love the kangaroo vibe of a big bag on my back and a smaller one on my front, I chose this backpack because I could carry it through the airport by the big top carry handle, kind of like a tote. Don't get me wrong though, I still kangarooed. And honestly, it helps balance the weight of a travel backpack. What are your thoughts on this? Do you roo? Let us know in the comments. As for everyday carry, I ended up bringing my trusty Low & Sons Bond sling and shoving it in the Kanken for the plane ride. I considered using the Kanken while walking around London, but I knew England was entering a heat wave and I didn't want my whole back covered up trapping heat. Spoiler alert, it didn't matter because I lost my body weight in sweat all day every day anyway. And that's a fact. The Bond ended up being perfect though. It's big enough to hold larger everyday items I don't usually carry, like a portable fan and my passport wallet, without being so big that it weighed me down. Plus, I like that it's on the more fashionable side of things. Speaking of fashion, let's talk fits. If you've watched travel content recently, you've probably seen everyone talking about the Sudoku packing method. In short, you lay your clothing out in a grid, and every horizontal row gets a top, bottom, and layer. When you look down at the grid, it's easy to see different outfit combinations. We talk a lot on this channel about packing a capsule wardrobe, and this made it way easier for me to cut down on clothing because it was easier to see and remember different outfit combos. Overall, I love this method and will definitely be using it again because it kept me in check. I have a tendency to overpack tops. However, for this trip, I do wish I had cut down on a layer or two and instead opted for more variety in shirt styles. Because it was so hot, I didn't end up wearing one layer and one pair of pants, making 2 of my 9 garments useless. London wasn't quite so hot when I first started to pack, and I didn't check the temperature again before I left, or else I would have seen that it was going to be 90 degrees and made some swaps. Ironically, if you've seen our videos before, you'll know this is something we recommend doing before you leave, so let me be an example of why. On the plus side, the other items I did wear were looser fits made with breathable linen, perfect for hot weather. Another thing to note is that this method doesn't cover things like pajamas or undergarments, so make sure those are on your list too. As for footwear, I kept it simple with a pair of comfortable closed-toed shoes and sandals. Last up is accessories. Think sunglasses and a hard shell case for protection, hair clips and hair ties, and a hat both for sun protection and bad hair days. Whenever I'm making my packing list before a trip, I start with everything I could bring and narrow it down to the stuff I'll actually use. For this trip, I left behind things like workout clothes and a bathing suit because neither of those activities were going to be happening. Although we did consider trying to find a pool out of sheer desperation to cool down. All right, enough about how hot it was, let's talk tech. Since I wasn't working, I didn't need to bring a full setup. Yes, I technically brought my laptop just in case an emergency came up, but I didn't use it, so it hung out in the Matador bag's laptop compartment. Everything else I brought was functional day to day. One cable to charge my phone and another my battery bank, and a travel adapter so that I could, actually plug it all in internationally. I decided to try something different this time and leave a wall charger behind and just use the included ports on a 65-watt Epica charger. If I ended up needing my laptop, this would have been enough to power that too. While it worked great, it was kind of bulky to pack. Since I didn't need it for my laptop at any point, I'll definitely be sizing down in the future to save space. Maybe one day I'll even leave my work computer behind. Everything else's charge lasted well over a week. I topped up my Kindle, remote page turner, and camera before leaving home, and I barely used my wireless headphones except for on the flights, so that case never needed a boost. Even if I did, I made sure that I had a cable compatible with every device I brought. Just like with clothing, lay out all of your tech and make sure it works together. For example, all my devices now charge with USB-C, but my Kindle and camera are micro USB. Annoying, I know, but the charges on those last weeks, and if I'm worried they'll run out, I bring a multi-cable instead of, or in addition to, a USB-C. When you're traveling for short trips that don't require a whole digital nomad setup, it's way easier to cut down on what you bring. Before you pack everything up, check for redundancies and cut down your list accordingly. The same goes for toiletries. At this point, I never bother packing body wash since every hotel and Airbnb I stay at has it. I also check my accommodations website or call to ask if they provide body lotion since it saves me another bottle. I know this doesn't work for everyone as some people have sensitive skin or allergies, but for me, that's what works. On the other hand, I personally refuse to use any shampoo and conditioner but my own since my hair is too testy and I don't like the unpredictability. My face is also pretty sensitive, so I bring my own skincare, including face-specific lotion. The key here is that I'm only bringing enough to get me through the trip. I've been using Cadence capsules for years, and they're great if you prioritize packability since they stack together easily. They're pretty heavy and screwing off the cap takes some getting used to, but I've yet to find another toiletry bottle that takes up such little space. I also bring travel-size versions of daily essentials like deodorant, a razor, and a toothbrush. I travel with my Quip Ultralight this time, but I usually just throw a gum foldable toothbrush in my 311 bag and call it a day. Hot tip: if you're traveling with a group, coordinate with everyone so that only one person packs an easily shareable item. This applies to things like toothpaste, sunscreen, and hot tools like a straightener or a curling iron. Because I'm always testing new gear on a trip, this time I packed all of my toiletries and tools into a small and large Tom Bin snake charmer, which the full review is up on our site now. Each has 2 large, spacious compartments, so I separated out my gear based on what I used it for, which in turn made it easier to quickly find what I needed. All my medications, first aid, and toiletries fit in one pouch, which is what I took to the bathroom when it was my turn to shower, and the other held larger essentials like my makeup, hair clips, and my new favorite gadget, the snozzle. It's a universal adapter for hair dryer attachments, so you can bring yours from home and use them with the dryer at your accommodations instead of hauling an entire hair dryer just because you need to dry your bangs. Even if you don't need this, I highly recommend it as a gift for any long-haired travelers in your life. Little tools like this can make a huge difference when you're on the road, which brings me to our next category: miscellaneous. This is where the trip really comes together. These are all of the small things that make your life easier, or harder if you forget to bring them. Like a mini fan, for example. For the first time in my life, I actually used one on a trip. I'm not saying I'll bring it every time, forever, but I'm so happy that I brought one with substantial power because I was often desperate for relief from the heat. My friends, on the other hand, ended up buying flimsy fans at a gift shop. Better than nothing, for sure, but they cost more than mine and it didn't work as well. The same goes for things like an umbrella. It didn't end up raining much while we were there, but I knew that it could change at any time, and I didn't want to buy one once I was there, since I'd probably pay twice as much for something that didn't work as well. Instead, I opted for something small and thin so that it didn't take up much space in my bag. You could always go with a rain jacket instead, but the idea of putting on a rain jacket in 90-degree humid weather sends shivers down my spine. No rain jacket is breathable enough to make that enjoyable. Other items I carried daily were less exciting, like a packable water bottle that I filled up at refill stations and earplugs since I was traveling for a concert. Harry Styles fans, sound off in the comments. The rest of my miscellaneous items fit squarely within airplane and travel necessities. I'm a recent convert to sleep masks, so I brought my go-to turtle and gave my friend a similar style from Mantis. I like the aesthetic of turtle more, but Mantis is a much smaller footprint and more breathable if you tend to get hot on planes. I also brought my trusty Orlemure OTC neck pillow, shout out to our Packhacker Pro Fred, for a little extra support around my neck or lower back, whichever needed it more. Last up is my passport in a passport wallet, which also fits my travel cards and a printed version of my visa, just in case. There are a few items I almost brought but decided to leave behind, like aloe vera for soothing my skin after long days in the sun, and some crochet supplies since I'm learning a new hobby. This is where our tip to really think about what you'll realistically use on a trip comes in. Yes, I would have loved to have spent some free time crocheting, but I knew that my overall free time was limited on this trip, so it didn't make sense to haul a giant ball of yarn across the Atlantic. However, if my next trip is a beach vacation, you bet I'm sticking that in my bag. All in all, traveling light is about making calls like this over and over until you find the perfect loadout that you can customize to every adventure. So that's everything I brought on my recent trip to England. We're testing new gear weekly, so even though my loadout may change, the sentiment behind why I pack each item stays the same. Drop a comment and let us know what new gear you've added to your kit recently, and we'll see you in the next video.